host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, broadcasting live on YouTube and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 25, 35, 32, depending on how many minutes we feel like talking to get your week started. Monday, July 14th, 2025. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. I want to get your vibes. So head to youtube.com/12OZ Sports. And while you're hitting the subscribe button, be sure to comment live on the Rome Show so we can have a nice conversation about what's on your mind. That could be the American Century Golf Classic that went on over the weekend in Lake Tahoe. Okay. That could be Major League Baseball's draft happened last night. I know it doesn't get as much fanfare as the NFL or the NBA or even the NHL to a degree, but it did happen last night. Some names you want to know about went last night, and another person with the last name Holiday. Yeah, what a family was drafted last night. And finally, today marks the Home Run Derby in Major League Baseball, and tomorrow marks the All-Star Game. But we're not here necessarily to talk about that because there is a little bit of controversy coming from the players in Major League Baseball about the rosters that have been chosen. More specifically, one player, but it poses the question, what is the future of the All-Star Game in Major League Baseball? It seems to me like in the time period we are in now, majority of the professional sports really have to think about, what are we doing with our All-Star break? Okay, what is our plan here? Is our All-Star break going to be something that showcases the literal best players in our league? Or is it going to be a spectacle, which is okay because it can draw more fans, grow the game? But what is it that you want? We'll answer that question on the backside of the Rome Show. Today, we're starting in Lake Tahoe, though, okay? Because this is the first time in my lifetime I have actually spent a second watching, learning, or even understanding the American Century Championship. Now, I am somebody that is a gigantic Dan Patrick Show fan, okay? So Dan Patrick and the Dan Patrick Show with the Danettes is on NBC Sports, okay? And so I'm listening to the Dan Patrick Show on my way to work last week or whatever it was, and he's talking about how he's in Lake Tahoe for the American Century Championship. Now, every summer I've heard about this. Like, I understand that there's a golf tournament for former athletes or current athletes and celebrities, and I guess you could just simply call it famous people, that competes, raises money for charity, but also at the same time is a lot of fun. I've always known it's kind of existed, but I've never really understood it. Well, over the weekend in Lake Tahoe, thanks to the Dan Patrick Show, because they were there live doing their radio show, I decided to follow along and get an idea of what this golf tournament's like. And I got to tell you, people, it is awesome. Okay? It is awesome. It's the 36th year. Okay? It's a made-for-TV event by NBC Sports. It's a 54-hole modified stable Ford format. I'll explain that in a second, with a total purse of $750,000. Now, most of the funds are going to go to supporting local and national charities, okay, which is hugely important. But there is some money for the victors. The top 5 individuals who place in the American Century Championship win money. First place wins $150,000. Okay, so I tell you all that to then show you this. I got a few highlights for you that kind of give you an idea of how much fun this event is. First and foremost, the champion, former NHLer Joe Pavelski, okay? Won a national championship in college, 74 career playoff goals, one of the best hockey players I've witnessed, great hockey players I've witnessed in my lifetime. Here's what he did on 18 to win the 2025 American Century Championship.
Eagle and 6 points.
How cool is this, man? Former athletes. This is awesome. Look at the people.
And he does it in style. An eagle at the 18th after a tie for second, a third, and a second the last 3 years. Joe Pavelski finally has his American Century Championship title, and he gives his wife Sarah a big kiss.
How awesome.
Celebrating their 17th anniversary yesterday. Pavelski is finally a winner here in Tahoe.
I mean, come on, man. That's awesome. Okay, listen to this top 5, okay? And this is golf, man. Like, this to me is fun stuff. I think that events like this help grow not just an individual sport, an individual player, or an individual league. It helps grow sports in general, okay? And if you are an avid listener to the Rome Show, or you're not, okay, if this is the first day you've ever listened, all right, one thing you're going to learn about Andrew, he loves sports. I love sports. I love athletics. I love playing sports. You give me a badminton racket, I will attempt to play with you. You want to put me in a racquetball game? I'm locked. You want me to play some tennis? I'm good. You definitely put me on a golf course. I'm there every single day. I love sports. And I feel like we are in a time period where there is a heavy hatred of sports, or a heavy dislike of sports, or a heavy not understanding of why people put so much time and money and effort into sports, okay? I'm not going to get into the tangent of why I love sports so much, about the driver of teaching you life and all these other things. Rome Show Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, I guarantee you in the last 6.5 years, you can find a rant or a discussion on why I love sports so much. So for me, the American Century Championship does exactly what it's supposed to do. It should give the fans who support these athletes a live look at them being themselves, okay, which is a fun thing to be a part of, whether abroad and on TV, or if you were there like those people on the boats in the water right there, and you're actually physically experiencing it in person. Do yourself a favor, go on X, type in American Century Championship, and watch some of these videos. I watched Baker Mayfield shotgun a beer with a few fans that were wearing his jersey. I watched Aaron Rodgers bring a little kid onto the golf course and like make his day. All right. I got a video here of Jimmy Rollins, the former baseball player, World Series champion with the Phillies, elite ball player, hitting his first career hole-in-one, winning a boat, and celebrating with Devontae Adams. Check this out.
Earlier today, former Major League Baseball star Jimmy Rollins on the tee at the par 312, measuring 139 yards. And he was calling for it immediately after the ball left the club face. And guess what? It happened. An ace for Jimmy. It's the third consecutive year there's been a hole-in-one at the American Century Championship. And Jimmy won a Mastercraft X24 boat for his effort.
And I don't think people understand how good at athletes these people are. Like, how good they are. All right, so I tangented a little bit. Top 5 list. Number 1, Joe Pavelski, National Hockey League. Number 2, John Smoltz. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Major League Baseball. Number 3, Jake Owen. He is a country singer and a really, really good golfer, according to the numbers. Number 4, Taylor Twellman, United States men's national team soccer player. And then number 5, a name that you definitely know, Steph Curry, who was the 2023 American Century Championship winner and is an electric golfer. But just to show you the amount of fun that these players have with their fans, here's Steph Curry for the 3rd straight year, draining a long bucket while playing golf. I mean, that's just so cool. So if you never have a chance or haven't had a chance to watch it, don't really know it exists, I now personally want to get myself to the American Century Championship. Next year, I'm going to try and figure out if I can get out there because it looks like so much fun. And boy, what a life goal that would be if I could be performing in that championship. Okay, so it's really up to you, the people. All right, so you got to follow the Rome Show on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. All right, or you got to follow and subscribe to the YouTube 12OZ Sports. Okay, and you got to watch and share with friends because in 15 years, the Rome Show could be doing a live show at the American Century Championship. Okay, I could have Hockey with Rocky on my bag, and we could be competing for the $150,000 purse, and we could be interacting with the Rome Show fans. All right, that only happens, though, if the people listen. So keep sharing with your friends, keep listening, because this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is my goal in the next 20 years. By the way, if you were wondering what stable Ford golf scoring is, I think it's awesome. I didn't even know this was a thing, okay? But now, when I create a golf outing with my friends, or I go golfing with my friends over a 2 or 3 day period for a little bit of competition, I think this is the way that we should score. Here it is. It's a point system where you earn points based on how well you do compared to the expected score. So, for example, if it's a par 5 and I get a 6, okay, my score wouldn't be as great. So, if you do better than par, though, like birdie or eagle, your score goes up with points, okay? So instead of the traditional golf format of I'm trying to go the lowest negative, it allows you to score the game, simply put, points for makes or lack of points for misses. So when you look at the scoreboard, it's like, oh, Joe Pavelski won like 29-28. Okay, well, here it is. Competitors score 1 point for a bogey, 2 points for a par, 3 points for a birdie, and 4 points for an eagle. If they do have an albatross, okay, that would be 5 points, okay? And so throughout the 3 days, you're really just collecting or losing points the entire time, which is a really great way to score the game. I think it puts a different spin on the traditional feeling of golf. So American Century Championship, congratulations to Joe Pavelski on his victory. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back from commercials, we are talking Major League Baseball. The draft was last night, plus the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game over the next 48 hours. Let's talk about it. You can get in on the action. 12OZ Sports on YouTube. I hope you do that. Back after this, Andrew Romanella.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome back into the Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, broadcasted live on YouTube and X. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got like 10 minutes or so left on the show. You got any thoughts, comments, concerns, vibes? The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or head to youtube.com/12OZ Sports and you can comment live on the show. I told you before the break, it was the Major League Baseball draft last night. That sure as heck was what it was. And not necessarily that you're going to know a lot of names, okay? Because I think that's the thing with Major League Baseball. That's the thing with its draft. Unlike the National Football League or the NBA, most of these players are going to have to earn some stripes in minor league baseball before they'll really ever have a chance to make it to the level of us watching them on TV. It's the only sport truly where you could be the knockdown, drag out best player, no doubt, no matter what in the draft. Somebody that, like Paul Skeens, you know is going to be a really good big leaguer, and you still have to play minor league baseball. It's like just one of those things. Like even Paul Skeens played minor league baseball for maybe 12 minutes, but it still happens. Okay. And it's one, I think because of that, there is a lack of interest, and not in a bad way. It's just the truth in the draft, because it's a longer turnaround before you're going to see your number one overall draft pick put your Major League Baseball uniform on. So for example, last night, Eli Willits from Fort Cobb Broxton High School in Oklahoma was the number one overall pick in the draft to the Washington Nationals. Awesome. Okay. According to the interim general manager from the Washington Nationals, this guy has the best hit tool for a shortstop in the draft. Now, this was a very heavy shortstop draft. Okay. I think there was like almost 10 or more that went in the first round alone. Okay. But nonetheless, all right, Eli Willits, number one overall pick. The dude's 17. Okay. He's the first overall pick in the draft, but he's 17. So there is a realistic scenario here where you witnessed this guy get drafted yesterday, and then it is the year 2030 before you see him play in a Major League Baseball uniform. And again, that's not an exaggeration. Okay. You can get drafted out of high school in baseball. Well, I haven't met a lot of 18-year-olds that are ready to face some of the best players in the league. I don't think this kid's ready to face Garrett Crochet of the Boston Red Sox. I don't think Tarek Skubal is going to be fearing this kid. So he needs time to develop. He needs time in minor league baseball. But that's the draft for Major League Baseball. So in some ways, you almost not even know what's going on. And in some ways, it's almost like, not that how much do I care? Because if you look at one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball right now, Pete Crow Armstrong, he is a draft pick of the New York Metropolitans. But in order to get a rental Javi Baez a bunch of years back, Pete Crow Armstrong is sent to the Chicago Cubs. Now you have a scenario where it was like, well, what was better? Continuing to foster that draft pick who we had drafted a few years earlier. We still have a few more years till we're going to see him in the league. But man, once he gets to the league, if the projectability keeps happening, this dude's going to be elite. Or we got a chance to go compete for a World Series right now. And this guy, Javi Baez, who, by the way, is still playing elite baseball, but for the Detroit Tigers, okay? We can go get him and make our team better right now. What's the move? And you have to fight that battle. But the thing is, that's why the draft is not as known. That's why the draft isn't as popular in this sport, because it's such a weird trajectory to get these guys to the major leagues. The Dylan Cruz and the Paul Skeens and the players that spend a year, 2 or less in the minor leagues, that is an outlier. That is a minority's minority of a minority. That's how small percentage that is. I bet, and we'll look this up, the average guy probably spends a minimum of 3 years in minor league baseball if they're a high-level draft pick. And they're going to get moved up the system because there's so much money tied up in that player. Talent maybe showcasing or not, right? But if you put $5 million into a first-round draft pick, you're going to give them every chance to get to the big league ball club. But how long is that going to take? Well, everyone's slightly different, but dang, does it take a minute for majority of the players. Here are your top 5 picks last night. I told you the first one. The second one was Tyler Brenner, right-handed pitcher at a UC Santa Barbara. Okay, dude throws gas up to 98. Cade Anderson, the LHP from LSU. Okay, he had 180 strikeouts, a 12-1 record, and a 3.18 ERA last season for Louisiana State University. All right. And number 4, I mentioned in the open, another Holiday, Ethan Holiday this time, the younger brother of Jackson Holiday and the other son of Matt Holiday, was drafted by the same team as his father, 4th overall to the Colorado Rockies. His dad, Matt Holiday, was drafted in the 7th round, 1998, by the Colorado Rockies. The first top 5 pick ever is Ethan Holiday to be drafted by the same team as his dad. That's really cool. And then secondly, the Holiday brothers are the 3rd set of brothers in MLB history to go top 10. The other sets of brothers are, can you guess them? I think both sets are twins. I could be wrong. I know one set's a set of twins. I have no one to really ask this, okay? Unless you want to write it in. So here's what I'm going to do. Can you answer the other 2 sets of brothers that were drafted top 10 in Major League Baseball history? Okay? So, like Ethan and Jackson Holiday, there are 2 more sets of brothers drafted top 10 overall Major League Baseball history. You have 5 minutes before this show ends to write in and let me know if you know the answer. Maybe a prize coming your way here from the Rome Show on 12 Ounce Sports. The 5th pick, Liam Doyle, great arm out of University of Tennessee. There were 2 total rounds last night. Kind of 3. It's like weird how baseball does it. All in all, there was 105 total picks last night. The MLB draft will continue into day 2 today. Okay. Where there are 20 rounds. So a lot of dreams to be had for people in Major League Baseball. Check it out. If you think your team needed somebody, when you look at the top 10, just to give you an idea, there were 5 infielders and 5 pitchers drafted in the top 10. Okay. So that kind of shows you the importance. 4 shortstops, 1 third baseman, 5 pitchers. Okay. And Ethan Holiday could play short or third. I mean, he's probably projected to be a third baseman, but that shows you the importance of those 2 positions. You need great infielders, especially up the middle, and you need elite pitching. And that's how your organization needs to be founded. Catching, pitching, shortstop, center field. And then from there, we can work. Finally, the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby today and tomorrow. All right. If you missed the show on Friday, we broke this down, but I'll let you know the participants again. Ronald Acuna Jr., Cal Raleigh, the MLB's leading home run hitter, James Wood, Byron Buxton, Brent Rooker, O'Neal Cruz, Junior Caminera, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. will be your participants in tonight's T-Mobile Home Run Derby. And then you have the All-Star Game tomorrow. And, there's a bit of controversy around the All-Star Game right now. And it centers much around Jacob Misiorowski, the rookie right-handed pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, who is a National League All-Star this year, but has only pitched 25.1 innings, made 5 starts, and has a 2.81 ERA. There were a few, specifically from the Philadelphia Phillies, that were very not happy with Major League Baseball's decision here. It's unfortunate, said Kyle Schwarber, who's hitting 254 with 30 homers and 69 RBIs, but I wish my teammates were there. We know what we have, and I think we're grateful for what we have. What a joke, Phillies shortstop Trey Turner said. That's terrible. I mean, that's terrible, dude. I mean, it's not the All-Star game in the sense that the best players go there or people have had the best seasons. It's whoever sells the most tickets or has been put on social media the most. That's essentially what it's turned into. It's turning into the Savannah Bananas, outfielder Nick Castellanos said. Major League Baseball is really just focusing on the most marketable players, Castellanos continued. So the fact that they can have somebody in the game that is going to basically blow out one inning and throw 103, 104, they're going to get more eyeballs on baseball. They're going to think it's getting more popular. And a lot more others have gone on, but those were the harshest ones from the Phillies, who were unhappy about certain players on their team not being picked for the All-Star game and Major League Baseball allowing Jacob Misiorowski to be chosen. Listen, I have this gripe with every sport. It's not just baseball. What's the All-Star game? What's the purpose of it? Okay, because in some leagues the fans vote, and in other leagues, like it's like players have a vote, and it's like in some leagues you're supposed to care about the stats. But what are we doing here? What is the All-Star game? Because all I know is when a player, no matter the league, gets put up for the Hall of Fame or gets talked about as a Hall of Famer or gets talked about with their greatness, what always comes into that conversation? Oh, he was a 10-time All-Star, 11-time All-Star. Ooh, he only won 3 All-Stars. Well, what does that mean? He only got picked to 3 All-Star teams. What does that mean? Okay, because if we're picking a dude who's only thrown 25 innings, okay, he's only appeared in 5 games of 90? That's ridiculous. And I don't care who was supposed to take his spot. That stuff doesn't matter to me. But I agree with the principle of what is the All-Star game then? Because first off, I've always thought the All-Star game was asinine because it's in the middle of the year. What? So I can have an electric 90 games and have an atrocious back 60, and I'm an All-Star. That's dumb. It should just be the body of work you put in for the entirety of the year. And if you want to have a break, have a break. Have a break. Take 4 days off. Showcase other people in your game. You can still do the futures game. You can still do the celebrity thing. There's so much you could do. But to name All-Stars after 90 games, and then furthermore, not really take into consideration how great people are playing because we allow fans to have a vote here is dumb. Oh, who do the fans want to see? Well, what is the purpose? Is the purpose to be a show, or is the purpose to celebrate the All-Stars, the people that are the best players in the league to this point? I think there is a real conundrum going on there. And I think Major League Baseball, I mean, you've seen it in hockey and football and in basketball so far. They're trying to change their all-star formats so that it is both more engaging for the fan and also celebrates the best players in your league. But right here, okay, this is a great example of a league being half in, half out. Man, we really need the eyeballs. We really want the eyeballs because we're starting to get more eyeballs. Don't want to lose that. But at the same time, we really want to have the integrity of what an all-star game is. Can't have it both ways. Okay? Can't have it both ways. And maybe you take the Castellanos thing and you put them all together. All right? Maybe you don't choose all-stars until the end of the season. Or actually, how about this? You have a mid-season all-star team and an all MLB team at the end of the year, okay? All MLB held to a higher regard than mid-season all-star, okay? Mid-season all-star. The top 20 players from each league are put on the mid-season all-star team based on a committee run by Major League Baseball. So it's chosen. Those 20 best players featured are chosen Okay. And then the final 5 picks are fan picks. And there's got to be minimums. Had to have played in a minimum amount of games. Had to have had a minimum amount of at-bats. Had to have thrown a minimum amount of innings. Okay. Mid-season all-star and then all MLB. Okay. And then coupled with that mid-season all-star game, maybe you don't even really play a mid-season all-star game. Maybe you just do the skill stuff. You have the home run derby, and I've been talking about this, adding like a skills competition in, a run competition, a throw competition. I know in the Japanese league, they have a bunt competition. All right. Then maybe you keep the celebrity all-star game. You keep the futures game. You keep the HBCU game. Okay. Look at all those things that are still going on. And then maybe you do bring the Savannah Bananas in. Maybe that's a great idea. Maybe the Savannah Bananas should be involved with this thing. And I get why a Major League Baseball player wouldn't want to be considered that the same thing, because the Savannah Bananas are the greatest show on a baseball field. Okay? Because it's entertainment from the standpoint of acting. Whereas baseball, another great show on a baseball field, is entertainment from sport, athleticism. Okay? 2 complete differences, though both are growing the game of baseball, I think, at the same time. So maybe that's your change. Maybe we just get rid of what a regular all-star game is in baseball, which I think is actually not the worst idea. Mid-season all-stars and end of the season all MLB. Okay? And you could tool with a few of those things. You got any thoughts on it? The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. You know the social media. Just follow us, and you can write in and give me some thoughts. And hey, let's break it down. I'd love to know how you would change Major League Baseball's All-Star game. And by the way, if you were wondering who those 2 dudes were, it was BJ and Justin Upton and Dimitri and Delman Young. Thank you to the people that wrote in on the back end. No one got that. I don't know if anyone would have gotten Dimitri and Delman Young, because I definitely didn't until I looked it up last night. Hey, The Rome Show, 12-ounce sports, back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Until then, you have an electric Monday. Don't let the Monday scaries affect you. Have a good day. It's all a mindset. Andrew Romanella. Peace.
Thank you for listening.